Hello, this is Dr. Young, and I'm going to talk about your assignment for week 3. And for week 4, I'm going to go ahead and talk about your paper too, so that you can get an early start. So far, your discussion questions are excellent. I mean, this is one of my favorite. Again, I love this class. I love teaching this class because it's so interesting. The content. I mean, the ethical discussion. I love it. So, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong week. For week 3, there are 2 discussion questions again and 1 response. Just like last week. So for your first discussion, you're going to talk about James and Rawls. For your first discussion, it is a quote, and there's also a link to it in the readings right here that you're going to respond to. You're basically going to answer the question, why do you think society should be arranged differently than it is now, and how can that be accomplished? So read this quote and then go to your weekly readings that relate to this and read that. Answer that question. And then for the second part, you're going to talk about the libertarian view. And when you're going to talk about that, read about it, excuse me. And you're going to answer these questions. And basically you're going to talk about equal opportunity, is capitalism fair, and, you know, as far as people, equal distribution, does everyone start out in a fair playing ground? So, I think most of us will probably say, well, we know for a fact. I think the question is it now fair? We know it hasn't been historically, but is it now? And if it is, why? If it's not, why? Support your argument there. And then, let's see. What is social justice, and are individuals ever entitled to something? That's a very simplistic question with a lot of thought behind it. So make sure that you're using some of your ethical concepts to support this. When are we entitled to something if it doesn't interfere with someone else's liberty? That's a very controversial question for some of the issues that are out there, as far as, what kind of rights and are we entitled to? Because it's different around the world and culturally. So anyway, I want you to talk about those things. This is pretty self-explanatory, I think. There's probably, and I'm not going to speak of my own opinion about these things, because, or at least not until maybe the discussion board, because I don't want to influence anyone's thoughts. But there's some very controversial issues as far as, are we entitled to something, and there are some controversial issues involved with that. So feel free to speak about those if you want. Just be very respectful, and there have been, and the reason I say that is that there have been some borderline debates in my courses, where, I've had to say, well, okay, we're not going to, and I don't, Lord, I certainly don't want to censor anyone, but, just be very respectful of other people's opinions, even if you don't agree with them. Just want to say that. Okay, so let's just move on to the paper. I'm going to the syllabus, and I just totally went the wrong way, so just give me a moment here. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to go to the syllabus and go to the week 4 paper portion, and we're going to look at the rubric for this paper. It is due next week, not this week. I'm just doing this video early so that you'll have time. Okay, so I don't want you to think it's due this week. It is not. Due in week 4. I think this is pretty simple. All you're doing is going back over what you've read, what you've just seen in the lectures, as far as ethical concepts, and applying them to the Penn State scandal. You don't want to give me a paper and just tell me about the Penn State scandal. You want to tell me a little bit about it and then apply the ethical concepts you've learned to it. Once you do that, make sure that you defend your application of these concepts by using sources, at least 5 credible sources. That means no Wikipedia, no eHow, no about.com. From your library or the Florida Tech Library, or publications, magazines, journals. You're going to use some media reports probably, but and I would question how credible they are at times, but I guess those are okay, because you're going to need to know. You're probably going to need some more information about the scandal, and that's fine. Just at least 5 more is better. APA format all the way. Title page, running head, paragraphs indented, double spacing, in-text citations, reference lists. Make sure to use references, not works cited, because we don't use works cited in APA. 1 inch margins. Hello, can't speak today. So that's about it, really. All you're doing is taking what you've learned and applying it to the scandal. This is a huge scandal. It should be easy to find some of those to relate to the scandal. It should be pretty easy to do. Give me when you write your paper, I'd like you to have an introduction and a conclusion. Here's the rubric. Let's click on that and take a look. One thing I do is that if you're writing this early and you're like, I'm writing this, I don't know if this is what she's looking for, or I don't really know if this is, send it to me in an email. I'll take a look at it. This has got to be, of course this is before it's due, but actually it would need to be at least Friday before it's due, because I have to have time to turn it around to you, and then you getting it in on time. But I'll be happy to take a look at it and say, I think you need to develop this area more, or I need you to proofread this better, or, what your format's off. I'll be happy to do that. I would take advantage of that, because unfortunately students don't do that as much as they used to, and I always say it, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it again. Turnitin is already part of this course. They've integrated it. You shouldn't have to submit anything. That's nice. I mean, to the Turnitin, just to the course, the Dropbox, the digital Dropbox. That's all you need to do. So that's about it. I mean, this rubric pretty much contains what I told you about. You're graded on your ability to take take a position, defend it, support it with sources. Apply the ethical concepts to the case. That's what you're being graded on as far as content. Those are the main things right there. The rest of it is just format and grammar. Make sure it's 5 to 7 pages, a minimum of 5 full pages. I know a lot of instructors would say you have to stay within the 5 to 7 page length, and not over 7. I don't really care if it's over 7. I'd rather not read 10, but I'm not gonna. My big thing is students who write too short papers that are too short, because they don't cover everything. I'd rather you give me too much detail than not enough. That's just me, though. That's really all. I'm going to use this when I grade this exact chart. I'm going to put it in an Excel sheet, make a sheet that tallies up the points, and I'm going to post this in the Dropbox. I mean, the assignment, when I grade, I'm going to post it in your assignment feedback box, excuse me. So, that's really all. I hope that helps. I hope that helps you, get started. And if you have any questions, call me, text me, email me. I tell you what, if you have an immediate need, text me. It'll just get to me faster. If it can wait possibly a day, email me, because I could have checked email for the day and then not check it again the next day. So just text me. Just tell me who you are and what class you're in, because I'm at a few different schools. And I'll be happy to assist. Anyway, have a great week, and I hope to hear from you, and I look forward to this week's discussion. It's going to be interesting. Have a great day.